Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan Chat. How are you guys feeling today? You should be feeling really top of the world. You should be feeling brilliant because we've just gone out and bought Rodri. It's been confirmed. Rodri is a City player. Absolutely fantastic news. We're going to break our transfer record. Last season it was Mahrez at 60 million quid. And we're buying Rodri at his release clause, which is 70 million euros. That works it out at just about 62.5 million quid. I gotta say up front, yeah. Massive kudos, yeah, to cheeky Begiristan and his team. Absolutely top dog he is. To get Rodri in without much of a fight, pretty quietly, really. Okay, there's been a few rumours in the last few weeks, but to get him in pretty quietly without any fight, really. There was rumours that United were interested and Bayern Munich. But in all reality, we've got him pretty easily and quite comfortably and at a good price too. With the market overinflated at the moment, ridiculous sums, people paying 65, 70 million for a goalkeeper and 75 million for a centre-back. Market's gone crazy. To get someone like Rodri at his age and with his current ability and future potential, man, absolutely belting work from Cheeky. So big up to Cheeky Begiristan. He's a top man and absolutely love the guy. So, we've all known, we'll get on to some of the qualities of Rodri in a minute, but we've all known we need a new defensive midfielder. I mean, we were looking last season. Yeah, last season we wanted to get Jorginho and that fell through because for whatever reason his agent was asking for a bit more, or he was asking for a bit more. They wanted an auction between City and Chelsea. We thought we'd had this deal signed, seen and delivered, and it didn't work out. And then we were hoping to get Douglas Luiz back, hoping to get his work permit sorted out. That never happened, so we had to go out on loan again. And we start the season with Fernandinho. Now, Fernandinho is absolute top bloke, top footballer, world class in his position, but he's 34 now. Even though he's still pretty much, it feels like he's at the top of his game. He's 34. He had an injury last season. He was out for a couple of months. We used Ilkay Gundogan in his place instead. Ilkay is a bit more of an attacking defensive midfielder, and Fernandinho is a bit more of a defensive midfielder, if you get what I mean. But we know, and we've known for a while, we need a replacement for Fernandinho. I think next season will be his last season at the top level. He'll be 35 at the end of that season. It'll be very hard for him to continue, but hey, you never know. He looks in pretty good nick, but it's time we got somebody else in. And quite early in the season, especially after we played Lyon, Tanguy Ndombele's name was mentioned again and again and again. Now, my mate of mine in France, who's a professional scout over there, he said City bid, I think, 40 million quid for Tanguy Ndombele last season. 40 million quid or 40 million euros. I can't remember which one it was now, but there's not much difference between the pound and euros these days. It's all about 10%. And he said City bid for Tanguy Ndombele last summer, and Lyon said no, because they kind of knew what player they had on their hands. He was young, he was developing, and he was going to be worth a lot more going forwards. And now, we're talking between 65 and 75 million quid for Tanguy Ndombele. But now that we got Rodri, that might, Tanguy Ndombele's price might drop, because now that City are not interested anymore, that might mean there's fewer clubs, and City are not there to push it up. Sorry, just adjusting the camera, get a bit more of me. Wow, maybe you don't want a bit more of me. So we knew we needed somebody, and in the last few weeks, Rodri's name has been mentioned more and more. The rumours have been building up. And we knew he had a release clause of 70 million euros, and City have gone and paid it. Now, a little bit about it. He's at Atletico right now, defensive midfielder, of course. But he went out to, he didn't really make it, couldn't push through, and he went out to Villarreal. And he did so well at Villarreal that Atletico bought him out last summer for 40 million euros. Something like 40 and a half, I think 40 million euros, let's go with that. And I'm actually quite surprised that they only put a release clause of 70 million euros in his contract, because if you think about it, they paid 40. You want to, you'd expect him to keep improving. So if he improved again, then surely his value would go up again and again and again. And 70 looks a bit cheap, but hey, that's what they've put it at. City are happy to pay the 70 million euros, and we paid the 70 million euros. Rodri's our player now. So absolutely fantastic news. So let's talk a little bit about Rodri. What kind of player are we getting? Well, I think honestly, I think Fernandinho's stats currently are better. I mean, Fernandinho's 34 years old. He's got 11, 12 years on this kid, and this kid could be top draw for the next 10 or 12 years. Can you just imagine that he could, if he goes on as long as Fernandinho up to 34, 10, 11, 12 years at City, at the top of his game, keeping on improving in the next few years under Pep Guardiola? Fantastic, absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm really excited about this purchase. But as I said, if you compare the stats between the two players, I think Fernandinho overall has, better stats. But stats only tell you part of the picture. They don't give you the full story. You've got to look at Atletico's possession. It's only 49%. And City's is 64%. So we have the ball a lot more. And it's natural that you're going to have more passing accuracy, more passes in a game, because that's what we do. We pass the ball a lot. So I wouldn't look too much, people who focus purely on stats, you've got to look at the bigger picture as well. Now, what kind of a player are we going to get? Well, we're going to get a tall, physical player, okay? And that physicality, I think, is really crucial in that holding midfielder role, because he's got to protect that defence and he's got to break up attacks. Now, even though Pep doesn't say so, Pep says we don't do this, we do tactical fouls, little nudges, little pushes, kicks here and there by Fernandinho usually, so that in order that he doesn't get booked. You side someone down, you've got a chance of getting booked. But if you just nudge him off the ball, it's a cheap foul to give, breaks up the play, and hopefully you don't get a yellow card. Some managers complain about this, well, stuff them. But that's the way we do it, regardless of what Pep says. So he's going to do all that defensive side. But he's also a launch pad. He's a launch pad for attacks, is Rodri, sorry, I was going to say Rodrigo, but his name is Rodrigo Hernandez, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember all of his names, sorry, but Rodri for short. Rodrigo Hernandez Cascante, whatever, Cascante. But Rodri, to you and me and to his mates. But he's a launch pad for attacks. He has that vision. He has that technical ability. He passes the ball at speed, both short and long, with a high degree of accuracy. Now, I think last season he had a 90% accuracy of a pass success rate, 90% pass success rate in the opponent's half. That's not passing the ball between yourself and the defenders. That's in the opponent's half. So he's accurate and decisive and he's reliable. Okay, I think that's really, really important. Now, you need someone who can do both the short passes and the long passes accurately and at speed. Because the way City play, especially against ultra defensive teams, we want to switch the play very, very quickly. Okay, now we might be attacking down one side and they'll naturally have more players on that side. So let's say we're attacking down the left, our left, on their right they'll have a lot more players. But where we play, we keep our wingers tucked out. They're hugging that touchline. Pep makes them stay out wide. So we'll have a winger out wide on the right flank. And we want to be able to switch that ball quickly, at pace, at speed, and attack down the other side when a lot of the opposition's defenders are on the other side of the pitch. We see that with Zinchenko does that. Laporte does that really, really well. And to have somebody else, I'm trying to think who does it with the right foot. There's not many who have got that accuracy with the right foot. Walker does it a few times. But to bring someone in who's, let's say, better prepared and has a more technical ability and to be more successful at this, I think that's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, passing the ball, spraying it, left, right and centre, is going to be brilliant. He's in the air, he's pretty decent as well. So I think he's about 6'2", 6'3". His stats say he wins about 65% of aerial duels. Fernandinho's on about 57. As I said, it's not that big a difference, and stats aren't always reflective of the way a team plays and how a player plays. But he's good in the air, and he's going to be needed for that, because we can't really get a Kanté kind. We could get a Kanté kind of defensive midfielder, but we're a diminutive side really. If you look at, I don't think Gundogan's that tall. David Silva's not that tall. Bernardo Silva's not that tall. Raheem Sterling's not that tall. We'll probably have one or two others who are not that tall. Okay, so you need some height, especially in defence, especially from free kicks in corners and dead ball situations, because and throw-ins and stuff like that. Because for a lot of teams, that's their only hope of scoring goals against City. You know, when they're playing ultra defensive, they've got to either hit us on the break or rely on dead ball situations, as I said, corners, throw-ins, free kicks, whatever. Okay, and we need that extra height. We saw last season, you know, we've occasionally been found lacking in the air defensively, and hopefully with Rodri, we're going to start to correct a little bit of that. I mean, I think Fernandinho does a good job as well, don't get me wrong, but I think it's important to get another tall, physical chap, someone ready to stick their boot in and do the dirty jobs when it's needed, but also has that skill. Yeah, he's not just a stopper of a holding midfielder. He can actually be that linchpin, that launch pad for attack. So it all augurs really, really well. And the other thing about him, I read that he makes a lot of interceptions. Now, it might just be that Atletico, with only having 49% of the ball, there's a lot more passing going on from the opposition, so he's got more opportunity to make those interceptions. But a key thing for me, if you're making interceptions, to me, it's telling me that you're reading the game really well. And I think that's another very, very important quality for a defensive midfielder, or for any player, to be honest. But you've got to be able to read the game well. You've got to be able to anticipate danger. You've got to be able to snuff out danger before it even gets going. Yeah. And if that requires a tactical foul, then, well, so be it. Do that tactical foul. And it's going to be really good this next season, I think, because he's going to learn under Fernandinho. He's going to learn under Pep Guardiola. I keep saying best manager in the world, but learning under Fernandinho, who's the top of the game, you know, right now. Dino is top dog, okay? Forgive the pun, but he's top of his game right now. And the expertise and experience that he'll pass on to Rodri is going to... It's going to be brilliant, you know, absolutely fantastic. So, Rodri, fantastic signing, great price. I think Dino will be the main player next season, yeah, and hopefully Rodri will be ready to step up in 2021, as Dino is probably, you know, takes a bit part role. Maybe Douglas Luiz will be there, but, you know, fingers crossed Rodri makes it. I've got no doubts that he will make it. And finally, I'll say this: if you heard the comments of Luis Enrique, the ex-Barcelona manager and Spain manager, and he was talking about Rodri last October, and he said, you know, they were comparing him to Busquets. Okay, they were comparing Rodri to Busquets, and Busquets, he's not an half bad player, is he? And I mean, Luis Enrique said, you know, he's careful not to praise people too much, but yes, he's been compared to Busquets, and he said, look, he's got the potential to be better than Busquets, you know, and he said, who knows where his limit will be. And for a kid 22, 23 years old, who's got potentially 10 or 11, 12 years ahead of him at the top level, who's already come through, broken through, playing at a good level, got a lot of potential and development to come. For the Spain manager, he's not a bad, you know, he's probably a shrewd judge, is old Luis Enrique. For the Spain manager to say, you know, who knows where his limits are, and he can be better than Busquets. I tell you what, that warms my heart. I can't wait for the season to start. I absolutely can't wait. I'm excited already. We're ages away, but I'm really excited. You know, City have done wonders. I'll repeat it again. Big up to Chiki Begiristain. Fantastic work from him and his team. You know, you know, look, we had 100 points. We added one player, okay, and we lost KDB for a lot of last season, and we lost Fernandinho for a couple of months, and Ben Mendy again. So it's nice to get players in, and hopefully we get a couple more as well. So we get 3 or 4 more new players besides the youngsters that we always get. And yeah, Rodri's right up there. Rodri's right up there with whoever we can buy this summer. I'm really excited, can't you tell? And I hope this next season is going to be fantastic for Rodri and fantastic for Manchester City. See you around, Blues.